than aesthetics for this one. That's a good thing.
It says I have excellent connection. I also took the Wi-Fi box out. So what will we start with? Titans closed facility after multiple COVID positives. Someone cutting grass. Bad Bunny. Why are we talking about this? Crocs collab?
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes is truly. I would have never guessed that.
Both players are dogs, man. Lamar 21-1, and then he's 0-3 versus Mahomes. That's fucking crazy. And
That just
Ravens,
proves.
nice, dude.
That just proves how great Patrick Mahomes is too, and that team.
Mm-hmm.
That team is just so built well against them.
Yeah. Andy Reid, bro, best play caller in the league.
Andy Reid, Eric, who's their defensive coordinator?
Steve Spagnuolo, former Giants.
Spagnuolo.
All right, guys, we're ready.
Wasn't he Rams too back in the day? Because he was the greatest show on turf.
Welcome
right?
everyone to Hear Me Out podcast. I'm your host Franco, along with my co-hosts Dro and Brooks. How are you guys doing today, guys?
I'm doing well, man. I didn't even know you were starting just now.
Yeah, fantastic.
Forgot to give the 5-second warning. I had to go run and get my charger. Sorry about that, guys.
Oh, you good. No problem.
Yeah, but how are you guys? There's a lot to talk about that we're going to discuss here, right? So
Absolutely, Lulu.
the first thing that Pedro, you wanted to give Brooks a question, right? That you wanted people to hear about Ocean City, how that went.
Right. So Brooks and I were texting. He told me that he was doing some workout in Ocean City, coincided with the crazy H2O car meet weekend that happens in Ocean City annually. How was that, Brooks? What were you doing out in Ocean City? Okay?
So I was in Cambridge, Maryland, so about 30 minutes away from Ocean City. Basically catering this wedding. Man, bro, this dude has like the biggest property. His house is overlooking the Chesapeake Bay. He got a helicopter in the garage. He has about 4 or 5 cars. Yeah, he's helicoptering. He's riding his helicopter to Ellicott City so he can avoid traffic. I mean, yeah, this guy has some money, bro. It was an amazing day. Country as hell.
Who is
These
the guy
guys.
that's asking?
I don't even know his name. I just know he lives in Cambridge. He's got some long money going because he was able to hold his own wedding at his own place, or hold his daughter's wedding at his own place. No one was really wearing masks. There's probably like a good handful of people that were. But yeah, it was a good day. You know, it was muddy as hell actually. So all my clothes were muddy and my shoes were muddy. But
my boy went to a wedding, man. That's what's up, dude.
yeah, man.
Weddings are very beautiful.
How was the beach?
I didn't even get to go. I wish I like slept over or something on the way to just be.
I thought you would. You were talking about going back at 12:30. I was like, boy, why don't you get a hotel, man?
No, yeah, because I was there from 1:30 in the afternoon until 12:30 at night. So
Right.
I was thinking maybe I could go up to Ocean City and check out H2O, but I was super tired, bro.
Right.
It was
right.
time for me to go.
Yeah, and Pedro, you went to a wedding recently too, right? How was that? You had to
Right,
take pictures,
so-
right?
I went to my very first wedding on September 19th, I believe, if I'm not mistaken on the date. Somewhere around September 20th. It was last Friday or like 2 Fridays ago. I went to a wedding. Giselle and Santiago, again, congratulations. They had me out there doing drone work, doing videos and pictures for their wedding. I was honored to be able to capture something so beautiful like that. I've never been to a wedding before. I had to get slacks and like wedding clothes and all this. I didn't want to look kind of crusty. Went out there, it was very fun. They looked so happy. The families looked very happy, and I'm just again honored to be able to have the privilege to capture something like that for them, something that they'll look back on when they're married 20 years, 30 years, and their children can look at it, and their grandchildren and their families can go back and look at this and say, wow, that was a beautiful day.
This was through the DMV drones page, so they hit you up?
Right,
That's
so
for you to become blessed?
it's actually drone by drone now, but yeah, they did hit me up on the drone page, and Giselle was saying, the bride in this wedding, she was saying, Santiago and I have been looking for local businesses to support and, obviously planning for their wedding and stuff like that. So it's just a great experience, very amazing people. And again, like the fact that they reached out to me, they said they liked my work and they wanted to support local business. That's what it's all about. And the main thing that Hear Me Out has been promoting all these years is that we want people with platforms and whatnot to collab with each other, as well as supporting local business. Supporting local business has always been a big emphasis of ours for Hear Me Out. that's why we messed with, a lot of these rappers around the area, a lot of local businesses, and it's just great that they felt confident enough in me to capture this moment and not to F it up. So big shout out to them and congrats, of course, on being newly weds.
Damn, how could you F it up? If you
Look,
ever would.
I F it up this way. So I could have come unprepared. I could have, maybe my battery dies in the middle of the sky while they're about to get married, and then I miss a moment, or maybe I throw something and I point the camera the wrong way. And the one very common novice drone pilot mistake that people make is catching themselves in the video. I caught myself in the video, but way towards the end when it was already panning out, like going all the way up. For those that want to watch it, I'll put it in the description of this live stream after we're done doing the stream, or just subscribe to Drone by Dro. It's my personal YouTube channel. I rebranded it Drone by Dro. The video is there. It's on Instagram and all that. It's a lot of things that could have gone wrong. I could have had a low battery. I could have not caught what I was supposed to catch. I could have crashed my drone into a tree because there was like 3 trees surrounding the spot where they were getting wet. So it was a challenge, but stuff like this is fun for me. It's work for me at this point. I'm doing this like 3, 4, 5 days a week now, just doing drone meetups and all types of drone work. It's very, very gratifying work. It's much better than working at a restaurant, I'll tell you that much. So yeah, man, there's a lot of things that could have gone wrong, but it's hard to F these things up when I have Brenda helping me, being the best assistant that I could ask for. She was flying the other drone with me. Brenda flying. I had 2 drones in the sky. I'm flying one, she's flying the other, and she's over here like operating it like as if she knows exactly what she's doing. So shit is great, man. It was it was a team effort. I'll tell you that much.
That's what's up. Yeah, you definitely have a passion for that. So where can people hit you up if they ever wanna use your drone skills for their events?
Yeah, if anybody wants to book me for drone services, all of my stuff right now is on Instagram. It's Drone by Dro on Instagram, all one word, no underscores, no spaces, periods, none of that. Go check it out on Instagram. I don't post much on Twitter. Same thing on Twitter though. I'm on LinkedIn. I got the website cooking up on Wix. So if for now, anybody that want to book, hit me up on Instagram, Drone by Dro, or if you got my number or know somebody that got my number, hit me up. I'll take care of whatever aerial occasions you guys need, weddings, real estate. All my work is like, my Instagram is like my portfolio. So for anybody that wants to see what I've done and what I'm capable of doing, go check out the Instagram. Everything you need there, my contact information, my email, phone number, all of that.
That's what's up. Yeah, so I mean, it's great to see that you're really passionate about this, man. I wish you all the best with your drone stuff. I can't wait to see you like capture like football games happening from like the sky. That would be awesome. But speaking of football games, it seems like there's some trouble going on with the NFL right now, right? There's the Titans had to close their facility after multiple COVID positives, and this was reported by ESPN. So could you tell us a little bit about that, Pedro, and then I'll pull up the article for people.
Schefter bomb.
So we had our first major outbreak in the NFL of COVID, and I think this would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, we've been harping on it for a long time, but the bubble that the NBA was able to create was in the NHL and the MLB. Now that they're in the playoffs, that was like the perfect situation that you can do for sports, because especially, I mean, it's not going to be cheap for the NFL. When you have to transport, what is it, 75 players on the roster to a hotel, through planes once a week. That's a lot of money to use, but if anybody can do it, it'd be the NFL. And to answer your question, yes, I think it was bound to happen when they weren't taking the same type of risk as anybody else was.
Yeah, man, the NFL was not ready for this one. I feel like the way that they've been handling COVID, I feel like is not as good as the other leagues. Obviously, they should have went to a bubble situation. I feel like there are some things that they are skipping in terms of cracking down on who's around who and stuff like that. the NFL, obviously they clamped down on the one rookie who was, I think he played for the Eagles, trying to bring some chick to his hotel.
No, yeah. No, I think that was the Seahawks.
Seahawks,
yeah.
right? Bird, whatever.
Right.
But yeah, so I feel like they're not cracking down as much. But as far as this specific incident, we have the Tennessee Titans and the Minnesota Vikings. They are the two teams involved. The story broke around 10 in the morning, so it's been circulating throughout the day. You got 3 players, and they haven't said who or what teams, but in total, between the 2 teams, we got 3 players and 5 personnel members have now tested positive. What does that mean? That means now that on a field with 52 players each, plus another 20 personnel members, you got 140 guys on the field, and 8 of them would have COVID if they were to play together, obviously. So they're not playing this week. It's Titans versus Steelers, which is the game they're thinking about rescheduling or canceling. So that's 140 guys, and you have, at the bare minimum, 3 to 4 of them have COVID. Now, that could be very tricky because you have all these guys that are definitely within 6 feet. A lot of them are wearing masks personnel-wise, but players, they're not wearing masks. They got their helmets on, but as soon as they come off, they're no longer wearing it. A lot of sweat going around. Guys are touching the same things. Guys are sharing water bottles and shit like this. Like, that's why I feel like, again, there are certain precautions that the NFL is not taking that, for example, the NBA did. They don't spread out the bench. They don't give these guys designated water stations and stuff like that. They don't tell these guys, look, I haven't seen any sanitation stations over there for the NFL. I'm sure they have it, and we're just not seeing it. But on the sideline, we haven't seen it. So this could potentially lead to a rescheduling of the Titans game against Steelers because it's dangerous. You got all these guys around hitting each other, and again, within 6 feet at all times, and they have nothing but a face mask, and saliva is going to go all over the place. It's I would definitely postpone this game and try to mediate this situation because 3 can easily turn into 10. We already saw that with the way this virus has taken over the world. It started in China, made its way to the States, and now here we are, and we are the United States, this big, powerful country, and we're the ones taking the brunt of this shit because as a country we've been irresponsible about the spread of this virus. So I would say cancel the games, but knowing Roger Goodell, the money whore that he is, he's not going to cancel anything. It's going to stay exactly how it is, and that could potentially lead to bigger risk because you pass it from, you saw how it was in the NBA. Rudy Gobert got it. Then, guys on the Nets were starting to get it. And then
it was like 5 or 6 in one day.
It spreads out like California wildfire, and prayers to California wildfire. I don't want to make jokes of that, but it spreads, right? So if I were them, I'd cancel it. Obviously, they're not going to. Brooks, your thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, once again, maybe they'll be able to get the bubble going on during the playoffs when it's about, 8 teams from, or not 8 teams, what is it, like 12 teams in the playoffs per conference, or altogether rather. Yeah, I hope that they're a little more responsible with that. We'll see what happens. And I'm glad that they were able to find it out so quickly too, because I think their tests are like next day results. So for them to figure it out relatively quickly is a good thing. You hope and pray that they're all able to recover pretty well, that they don't have any of the lingering effects that some of these people do with with their hearts or getting blood clots, whatever it may be. I don't know the exact science for it. I just know what I see in the news. So yeah, and we'll see what Roger Goodell does. I think it might be a situation like what happened with the MLB, where guys just have to cancel games, or teams have to cancel games. They figure it out from there. Everybody else prays that they don't get the virus, and then you go from there. But yeah, Roger Goodell is definitely a money whore, so he'll keep the games going as he can. I think that the Vikings and the Titans are probably gonna have to reschedule a whole lot of things right now, though.
And if they do it won't hurt the NFL that bad because you have this big long season. If you miss a game or put it somewhere like on a Thursday night slate or something like that, it can't be that bad one game, because I would rather lose a game off the schedule than half the season or have to have some type of postpone like how the NBA did, and then you go months and months, and it throws off the scheduling of the next season. And some teams that are going to be in the playoffs will have shorter off seasons than other teams that won't make the playoffs. It's a lot of nuances that go into not canceling these games and what could happen in the future. But again, like we said, you and I both know Roger Goodell's bottom line is money. So it's not player safety. It never was. He has a track record of neglecting player safety, and you have guys like Richard Sherman that criticized him. Patrick Mahomes has criticized the safety protocol in the NFL and stuff like that. I just don't see any possible way that this game gets canceled, but I do think it's very possible that they could reschedule this game, maybe take it from a Sunday night and add it to like a Thursday night doubleheader somewhere down the line. That would be much smarter.
One thing we also have to consider is the fact that I believe it was Sunday, we just passed like the highest total of cases being positive altogether as a country. So, and right now we're probably going to end up having maybe a quote unquote second wave of these virus cases. You never know what happens, but something else could happen. So they're gonna have to consider that into a factor. So yeah, they got a whole nightmare coming towards them. The NFL does.
So I'm gonna read a little bit of the article that you guys sent, and then if you guys could put it up in the chat for other people to read, just to give more details on what's going on, and then you guys can give some more commentary on this. So the article says the Tennessee Titans have closed their facility until Saturday after 3 players and 5 team personnel members tested positive for the coronavirus. The NFL announced Tuesday. While no official decision has yet been made about the Titans game Sunday against the Pittsburgh Steelers in Nashville, the NFL wants and intends to have the game played as scheduled. A source told ESPN's Adam Schefter. One of the contingency plans to allow for additional testing and contact tracing to occur would be to move the game to Monday night, a source told ESPN. The 8 new positive tests for the Titans have been confirmed after additional testing, a source told ESPN's Kevin Seifert. Those who tested positive have been asymptomatic as of Tuesday morning, a source told ESPN's Dan Graziano. So these people are getting tested every day to make sure that they don't have COVID, correct? But it seems like people are testing positive now. What was the time frame again in which these 8 people got COVID? And there's no other team that has had this happen to them?
Right. This is the first actual outbreak in the NFL with COVID this season. So we haven't heard of anything else. There hasn't been anything reported. But as far as the timeline, I have no idea. I don't think anybody really has a concrete idea just yet. These are probably, could even be guys, if they're getting tested every single day, they couldn't have had it for that long. So they're able to timetable these things. We'll learn more as the reports come out. They're about to push back the game one day. What the hell difference is that going to be?
And this is different from what the NBA did, right? The NBA was still testing people every day, though. But what is the NFL doing differently from what the NBA did?
They're in a bubble. The NBA is in a bubble in their own community. They got everything in these bubbles, But the NFL is traveling. Like they're taking their normal flights. They're going to all these different places. The sidelines are not spread out. You got coaches wearing masks. You got Andy Reid wearing the little visor. That visor is so tough, by the way.
Yeah, that is. It wasn't fogging up yesterday, though.
What'd you say?
It wasn't fogging up like it was the first time around.
They installed something to defog it in there, apparently. I seen something about that. Shout out to Andy Reid, man.
That's smart.
But yeah, as far as the actual, them doing stuff to combat COVID during the games, I haven't personally seen it. I don't see spread out benches. I don't see sanitation stations. I don't see guys really wearing masks when they're not outside. I'm not saying a mask is going to cure all, right? But you would think that there's little small things that they might try to implement into the game. They're playing these games as if there's nothing going on the sideline.
Except for the COVID testing. But yeah, it seems like everything is like how it was last year when there wasn't a pandemic happening.
And they're even allowing stadium at capacity, of course, but
some places are, yeah. Like Kansas City is.
Not taking it serious enough, in my opinion. Like I don't feel like these guys all together. That's the number one thing for me. They're all too close together on the sideline for something not to happen. If that's what they want to do, that's what they're going to do. But expect things like this to happen.
The crazy part is they've had the longest time out of anybody to figure out a plan to try to implement something similar to what NHL, MLB, and the NBA are doing, and yet, like they frequently do, the NBA missed the, or excuse me, not the NBA, the NFL missed the mark and decided to just throw caution to the wind and do whatever that they wanted to do, and that's not what you want to do during a pandemic when everybody's watching you, everybody's trying to figure out how to live their life, try to, figure out this new normal that we're living in.
Yeah, well said. You guys have any other comments about this before we move on to the next one?
Last thing I want to say is this in regards to the Steelers and Titans upcoming game on Sunday and pushing it to Monday. The best course of action, put it on a Thursday night doubleheader somewhere down the season. Give them this week off. Give them take their bye week, whatever their bye week is, put them in a back-to-back Thursday night. It'll be much better that way. I think the Titans have their bye week somewhere towards the middle of the season, like week 9 or 10. Give them the bye week this week because 1 week is so much better than 1 day. It's going to lead to a lot more problems if they play on Monday night or Sunday for that matter.
Yeah. Hopefully things get better. Hopefully it stops. Hopefully there's not more positive tests. But I think the way that they have people traveling, like the chances for contamination and spreading that to other people is high. But we'll see what happens in the coming weeks. So moving on to the next topic, Breonna Taylor. Last week,
we were gonna do finals prediction before we get to Breonna Taylor.
Oh, the finals prediction for what?
So NBA finals are upon us. We got the Eastern Conference champion Miami Heat, the Western Conference Los Angeles Lakers. Let's just cut straight to the chase, man. Brooks, what are your thoughts on this matchup, and what are your predictions?
This is going to be one hell of a series, man. I'm so excited. You got you got the Lakers and the Heat. You got LeBron's current team versus LeBron's former team. LeBron's first ring versus LeBron's possible next couple rings. Not that we never know, but we're in that time frame right now. Eric Spoelstra, and Pat Riley, they felt jilted by LeBron when he didn't want to take a meeting with them. The last time he was a free agent, they felt jilted when he left, and he didn't want to say anything to them, wasn't being transparent. I mean, this is going to be super personal. It's going to be a really fun series, man. I think he's not afraid of Jimmy Butler or Andre Iguodala. He already put 2 game winners on Jimmy Butler's head. He already got the most signature block of his career against Iguodala. That dude has nothing to worry about, nothing to fear, for real. Eric Spoelstra might just have a really good game plan, but he's LeBron James. He's the king. He's going to figure it out. No problem with that. Say it again?
You got Lakers winning it?
I got Lakers in 6.
Lakers in 6, okay.
Yeah, I'm going to say Lakers in 6.
Okay. So, you nailed it, bro. This is the most narrative-based finals that we've seen in quite some time because there's no more Golden State. There's no more Cleveland for that matter because we saw the NBA going down this path of zero parity, right, where it was guaranteed to be the Cavs coming out of the East, guaranteed the Warriors coming out of the West, and then we already know who's going to win that, especially when Kevin Durant went and joined forces with the team that whooped his ass the year before. So that was we already knew, right? But this is the first time, and I think a lot of people are heavily favoring the Lakers, but boy, this is a narrative-based finals. You said it. You know, you got LeBron's former team. Their last finals appearance was when LeBron was there, and they lost 4-1 to the great San Antonio Spurs with Pop and Tim Duncan and all them. And then you got LeBron taking AD to his first finals, AD becoming a real bona fide, I guess you could even say he's entering legendary status with this playoff run, and I think he can really cap it off with a championship here. A lot of narratives. AD's first finals, LeBron's 10th finals in 17 tries. Ridiculous. It's never going to be done again by a single player. I'm stamping that right now. No player is ever going to go to 10 out of 17 finals individually, ever. And that's with 3 different teams. It's so narrative-based. Pat Riley, Eric Spoelstra, Jimmy Butler, the locker room cancer, right? The guy who they couldn't stand in Chicago. They couldn't stand him in Minnesota. They couldn't stand him in Philadelphia. And for a while, it really was looking like he might be the problem. But really, he was pairing up with guys who just didn't want him to lead, right? You know, you got big egos in Philly and Minnesota with those duos, the young duos. You got Embiid, Simmons, and Wiggins, and what's his name, Karl Anthony Towns. These are guys who are talent that don't work hard, and I think Miami's the complete opposite. You know, they are talented, but it's the hard work that got them there. It's not the talent, because you look at this roster top to bottom, they're not that talented on paper. You know, if you told me at the beginning of the season that Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, Jimmy Butler, Goran Dragic, and Kelly Olynyk, if you told me that was going to be the lineup in the finals, I will laugh in your face. I'll tell you, hell no, it's going to be the Celtics, it's going to be the Raptors. It could even be Giannis and them. But I did not think that Miami at the beginning of the season would be this good. And it's also narrative based. Again, Tyler Hero, 20 years of age, and he's doing ridiculous things in the Eastern Conference Finals. He put away a good Celtics team, basically without the help of Jimmy Butler at times. Jimmy Butler was like a ghost in some of these games. So, you know, very narrative based. LeBron's 4th chip could be coming, and it's just going to be a great one. But all in all, man, the Heat Cinderella run finishes here. I think that they lose in 5-6 games. I think I'll give them 6. Just respectfully, I'll give them 6 games. I want to say 5, but I will give them 6 because Jimmy Butler, I feel like, is going to be very aggressive. They're going to win game 1. And then after that, they're going to get 4-1. After that first win that they get. Because the Lakers have given the first game, feeling out their opponents, letting them get real cocky. You saw it all playoffs. You had Damian Lillard dancing to the Too Short song. You got Russell Westbrook yelling at the wives and babies in the crowd. You got Jamal, Jimmy. Everything gets revisited after, and they get a little bit of confidence in the LeBron James. Kills them, man. It's great. It's great narrative-based basketball. Whatever happens would be great, but I think nothing less than a LeBron championship will be satisfactory for the NBA in this one here. So I'm going to have to take Lakers at 6.
I think the funny thing here, too, is, and you mentioned it earlier, Jimmy Butler is this guy who's supposed to be a locker room cancer, and he's supposed to be this super competitive dude. Competitive dude, sorry. And here he comes with the perfect team, perfect culture, Heat culture, and now he's just living his best life, living just the perfect basketball life, bro. Like, when you have a competitive person with a competitive team, competitive people all around you that just want to play basketball and win, is great. And I wish he could have done that in Chicago. I wish he could have done that in Minnesota. But Cat and Wiggins, Maple Jordan, they're not great, or they don't want to be great. In Chicago, they just gave up on him, and he never got given up on by the Heat, and he didn't want to give up on them. So it's a perfect match, and I hope it's competitive. I know it's going to be competitive, but it's going to be just so much great stuff going on. I think AD is like the X factor here, depending on what he does against Bam.
Dude, you and I were talking about this, right? Actually, no. It wasn't me and you. It was actually me and a former HMO member in Brady.
Yeah, Brady.
That's in season 2. Brady was telling me, he was like, yo, Bam is going to have a series. And I was like, you know what? I don't think so, man. I think that he's been great up to this point, but let's be honest, man. Who has he really been matched up against? Like, he has not seen someone like AD. And I know I said this about the Miami Heat. I said the Celtics are going to win because Miami hasn't matched up with anybody that great yet, blah, blah, blah. I was wrong. I was super wrong about that. I did not give the Miami Heat their fair chance, but I don't think Bam is going to put up 32 and 15 and 5 against Anthony Davis. I don't think he's going to average 20 plus, 10 plus. I think that he's going to get respectable numbers like 18 and 8, close, but not quite there.
That's major disrespect. Don't forget they played against Giannis, too, in the Bucks.
Oh, stop.
Played against the MVP.
So overrated, man. Giannis got mentally locked down by Jimmy Butler. Forget Bam. He got mentally. You remember when Giannis was trying to do that little back down on Jimmy Butler, and Jimmy Butler just moved out the way, and Giannis threw his whole ass at nothing, and then fell on the ground, turned it over. I don't want to hear no Giannis stuff in this.
Man.
Bam Adebayo, he's going to get his, but he's not going to do it on the level that he's been doing it. In my opinion, if he does go out there, I'll come into this live stream and say, Brooks, I was wrong. HMO Nation, I was wrong. But until then, I don't have Bam doing it, especially on defense. I know that they played great defense on Giannis. Matter of fact, they played the best defense on Giannis that anybody has played all year, regular season, bubble, and bubble playoffs, the Miami Heat, right? But why they won't do that against the Lakers is because they're very dependent on this box one defense, and they love to collapse. Every time a big man comes in there, Anthony Davis, Dwight Howard, they like to close down the lane and throw three people. Why can't you do that against the Lakers? KCP is hot, right? Kyle Kuzma, when he wants to be, can be hot. LeBron has found his jumper in the last game. And then, you just got Anthony Davis, who has guard skills, right? This guy, I know Giannis is a good passer, but Anthony Davis, man, I feel like he's arguably as good, if not a better passer of the ball than Giannis at times. So I don't feel like they're going to be able to do that same thing where they just collapse the paint and make him either kick it out to a poor shot. I think they're going to have a lot more fluidity in their offense with the Lakers. I don't think that the Heat, and there's tape too of the Lakers and Heat playing. The Lakers have been very good against the Heat's zone defense that has brought them to this point. That same zone defense that almost had them blow a 3-1 lead where Boston was starting to figure it out in those two wins where they won. The Lakers played great against that zone defense. Anthony Davis is going to eat. LeBron's going to eat. But more importantly than anything, LeBron James, he's just going to put on a clinic. He's going to lead both categories like he did when they won the last finals. He's going to eat. I give him not only finals MVP, I give him like 28, 13. No, I give him like 28, 12 rebounds, and like 10 assists per game. He's going to average a triple-double.
Triple-double in the finals?
For the finals.
Dang.
Filling a block per game into there, too. LeBron
Was that
James,
worse? Is that as crazy of a take that I had when I said that Jimmy Butler would have like 25 and 12 in like game 3 of the conference finals or something like that?
My bet is more safe than yours because Jimmy Butler is not known to do that on the regular. LeBron is not. He does this, man. He's like 2 triple doubles away from the most triple doubles ever in the playoffs. For I think that's Magic got that record, or Jason Kidd or somebody like. I think it's Magic, but yeah, man. LeBron is going to put on a show. The NBA Finals is here. Bubble Finals. It's going to be a fantastic series. Again, Miami wins game 1. They get gentlemen swept after that. So 4-2 total. LeBron it's either going to be LeBron or AD holding up Finals MVP. Nobody else. Not Jimmy Butler. Not Tyler Hero. Nobody. Before
we move on to the next topic, this is my final thing. I'm going to say this. I'm putting respect on Eric Spoelstra's name. I think he's the best. Let me not say he's the best coach, but I think he's one of the best coaches in the NBA, top 3 for sure. I say Greg Popovich is in there, Eric Spoelstra, and then Nick Nurse. I don't think Brad Stevens has that clout anymore.
Brad Stevens fell off.
Yeah, Brad Stevens definitely fell off. That might just be recency bias. You never know what happens next season. But either way.
Shout out to who was it that said Dak. Shout out to Dak. Dak Rillo. He was saying how he believed that Eric Spoelstra could potentially outcoach Brad Stevens in the Eastern Conference Finals. And I was like, hell no, man, you're tripping. I got Brad Stevens out coaching. And I think even George Jarjour was throwing flowers at Eric Spoelstra and saying that he has a better chance than Brad Stevens. Eric Spoelstra deserves the credit because without him being the head coach of this team, they're not in the finals. You put like Ty Lue or even Doc Rivers in there, I don't think that they make the finals.
Yeah, exactly. So once again, give Eric Spoelstra his flowers.
Absolutely.
I think it's going to be 6 games once again. I think it's going to be very, very competitive. I think Jimmy Butler's going to prove a lot of people even more wrong than they were previously about him. But I just don't think they have enough to get over the hump and beat the Lakers.
No, sir.
But let's get on to this Breonna Taylor thing. Franco, what's up?
Yeah, first I want to give a shout out to Bruno Silva, who's a friend of the show. He said he sees sports betting is on the ballot for November for Maryland this year. Question 2, vote yes if that's your thing. Do you guys have any bets on the NBA Finals? And are you guys voting yes on this?
What do you think, Brooks? You voting yes on that?
I mean, I'm not
sports betting or what is that?
Sports betting.
Sports betting. So just
sports betting. Yeah.
So is it just professional sports in general?
I would have to look at the details on that. This is just a message I received on our group chat by Bruno Silva. But
gotcha. Well,
shout out to Bill Excitement.
I mean, I don't have anything wrong. I don't have anything against professional sports gambling. So if it's on the ballot, then I guess I'll say yeah. It's not that big of a deal to me, but I'm not going to stop anybody else from getting it back from betting.
Hey man, do your thing, sports bettors. Sports betting is a very tricky, slippery slope, but do your thing. I mean, if you are a person with self-control and a sense of money and how much you're putting in, when it comes to betting, you only put in what you would be okay with losing. If you would not be okay with losing $10, bet $5, bet $2. If you want to just say you did it. But high risk, high reward. The more you put in, the more you get. That's why it's a slippery slope. You win 1, 2, 3 in a row, and you think, I cracked the code, and then you lose 4, 5, 6 in a row, and now you're in the red. So it's a slippery slope. If you know your shit, go for it. If you're willing to lose $100, you could potentially see a nice little reward if your pick is correct. But I wouldn't say I encourage sports betting, but I'm also not going to shit on people for doing that.
The way I see it right now, people are free to do what they want with their money. Like, why should they be stopped from doing that? People bet on sports anyway. So I don't understand what this is all about.
Might as well make it legal, right?
Yeah. All right, yeah, but moving on to the Breonna Taylor stuff. Last week I covered on my show how one of the cops, Louisville police officer Brett Hankinson, he was charged on 3 lesser counts of wanton endangerment. Now, what wanton endangerment is, for people who don't know, this is extreme indifference to the value of human life. He's not being charged for putting Breonna Taylor or her boyfriend's life in danger. He was charged for putting people living in adjacent apartments' lives in danger. So he was charged for missing. And people went out and protested against this. And I completely understand it. I don't endorse any types of violence, but I understand why people are out there. This is completely unjust and unfair. All of those cops need to be behind bars. They committed an act of murder. And Brooks and Pedro, you guys wanted to give us an update on this case as well, right? What else came out recently this week?
Before I let Brooks speak on this, I just want to say one thing. What do we consistently hear at these protests? No justice, no peace. So as long as shit like this still happens, there is going to be social unrest. There is going to be people out there protesting. There's going to be people potentially getting hurt. There's going to be stores getting messed up and items being messed up. That stuff is going to happen until things like this are a thing of the past. Easier said than done, however. But this is the exact thing that all the people that are against this movement complain about. You know, protect the businesses. Protect Blue Lives Matter. All this stuff. No justice, no peace. Brooks, what are your thoughts on this? Another every time we talk about Breonna Taylor, it's another layer of disrespect towards her and the family and her loved ones. What are your thoughts on this extra layer that is being added onto this case?
I mean, this is just another situation of this, like you said, disrespect to her and her family, Black women in general, having to just fight, you know, multiple battles, not just within our own community, but then the outside world against cops. It's a lot of things that they have to deal with. You know, and not to say that anybody else has to deal with these same type of battles, but it's a lot of tough stuff going on with that. My main takeaway is the fact that now we know for a fact that the law that the AG, Cameron Taylor, what's his full name? The Kentucky AG. He didn't bring the full story to the grand jury. You know, they're talking about Brett Hankinson did not get shot by Kenneth Walker when he fired off that warning shot, you know, trying to make sure that people didn't come into that house, try to rob them. You know, and that's huge. And that should have been a part of the case. That should have been a part of a big, huge factor in whether or not they got indicted for murder. And frankly, you're completely right. They should be punished for this. It should be more than just losing their jobs. When you take somebody's life, you should do your time and, you know, repent for what you did, because Breonna Taylor's not going to be able to have her wedding. She's not going to be able to have her kids. She's not going to be able to grow old with Kenneth Walker or anything like that. Like, Kenneth Walker had to watch the love of his life die right in front of him because the police went to the wrong house thinking that, you know, Breonna Taylor's house was being used as a trap house when in fact it was not. They didn't find anything there. The dude was already arrested. The ex-boyfriend was already arrested. Like, this is all just a shit show for them. And one other thing too, you see a lot of people complaining about, he shouldn't have shot at the police. You know, they're only doing their jobs. Listen to the law and order, this, that, and the third. But this is the man who was following. He owned a gun legally. He's a Second Amendment person, as far as, or I can assume. And the Second Amendment is protection against government tyranny. And you have an example of governmental tyranny happening to this family, to these two people, to this couple that did nothing illegal, anything wrong like that. And people want to say, you shouldn't be shooting at your cops. And this is an example of government tyranny. You should be able to protect yourself from government tyranny. But, you know, people 100%. Are saying otherwise.
Yeah, it's self-defense. And like you said, against government tyranny. That's the whole point of why the Second Amendment was written. It was in response to the Revolutionary War, when the redcoats kept going into people's houses. Like, people wanted to feel safe. And the police, they tell us that they're supposed to make us feel safe, but look at what happens. This is a big example of our lives being in danger because of cops, and there's no justice in response to it. Instead, I know this has been said several times, but the Walls that got shot received more justice than Breonna Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
Anything you want to say, Pedro?
For me, when this whole Breonna Taylor thing started, when it first came out and they started releasing more information, things like this, obviously me being, you know, call it what I always say, you know, I'm a white guy, right? I say I'm a white guy. You're not white, you're Brazilian. I am white, okay? So as a white
Caucasian,
person, I can't understand or truly feel how the black community feels when they see things like this happen, right? So what I try to do to you know, really understand the gravity of these things is put myself in that situation. How would I feel how would it make me or my loved ones feel if I were the one in that position. If because I'm with the love of my life, I couldn't even imagine if I had to watch her get shot, die in front of me, and then she gets not only no justice but layers and layers and layers and layers of disrespect. This is just one of a wide array of problems that are going on in this country, and man, I would say we need to think of how would it make us feel, because most times it's easy for us to just be like, damn, that sucks, and then just go back to our life and just put it in the back of our minds again. We shouldn't do that. I would say we need to look at these things and think, how would it make us feel? And if it were my daughter, if it were my sister, or something like that, forget everything else. It's just it's sad, man. How much more of this is going to happen before she gets justice, before this becomes less of a problem, because it feels like since George Floyd passed away, it's been more and more things building up. It's been more resistance from one side, and it seems like we're nearing like a civil war in this country at times, man. It's sad, man.
It should be directed towards the right people, though. It shouldn't be directed amongst other working class people. But other than that, I want to add on to a point you made about how people who look like you, people who are Caucasian, what they can do to understand the situation even better is to have conversations with people of color. Ask them how they feel about these things, why they feel this way about things. Read some books by African American academics or people like Malcolm X. That can help you understand the injustice better and why we have such a systemically unfair system. Systemically unfair country, I should say. But yeah, I want to read a little bit of this New York Times article that you guys sent. Thank you for that. It says, grand juror in Breonna Taylor case says deliberations were misrepresented. The Kentucky Attorney General's office said it would release the panel's recordings after a grand juror contended in a court filing that its discussions were inaccurately characterized. Just to read the first paragraph here, a juror in the Breonna Taylor case contends that the Kentucky Attorney General misrepresented the grand jury's deliberations and failed to offer the panel the option of indicting the two officers who fatally shot the young woman, according to the juror's lawyer. Pedro and Brooks, you guys want to add anything onto that?
Pedro, you can go first.
What more can you add on to that? It's like whenever we talk about these things, it's like we have debates on this show. We have differing opinions on certain things, but there are just some universal things like this where it's like we look at it and we say, this is wrong. This is fucked up. It's again, like I said earlier in this live stream, it's always a new layer of they always throw something else in there. Oh, they forgot to do this. Oh, we admit we did this wrong after the fact. This just goes to show why we need to, like you said, continue educating ourselves. And I know people say go out and vote locally, because I feel like
that's where you have the most influence.
That's where patterns start to be made across the country when certain things start happening in each state, in each county, each city. And if not, if you don't want to go out there and vote, this is how it's going to continue being. Because the way things are now, they are set to stay this way for the next 100 years, the way that they've already been for the last 100 years. People talk about police brutality in 2020. Police brutality has been a thing since the 80s, 70s.
Of the 1800s, or even before that.
Nothing new. This country has been built off of just so much negativity, so much stealing, so much killing, getting away with things. I'm not saying it's not a good country, because I like living in this country. I think that there's a lot of opportunity for people in this country, but the inequality is inexcusable. And what can we do about it is what I think everybody's asking themselves. What can we do about it? And the one thing that I would say, yes, go vote for the November election, but we need to focus on the local elections. Get in your community a little bit more. Start talking to other people locally, and learn even the history of your city, of your county. What do you want to see change from where you live? What do you want to see change, in each county, city, or whatever? Again,
Well
the way
said.
things are now, they're set to stay this way for the next 100 years. Anybody that doesn't go out there and vote, it's playing the neutral card, and we already know how neutral people where their heart usually resides.
I think that voting isn't enough, and that we need to get out there into the streets and protest and demand change, because right now, at least with the presidential race, neither of them are offering us any change. Biden said nothing will fundamentally change, and I think I will be preaching to the choir here if I explain all the horrible stuff that Trump does. So we need to demand change before they earn our vote. Like, simply just going out and voting isn't going to install change. We have to do more than that, and that requires informing ourselves, which we discussed just now, and also getting out there in the streets and demanding change.
I'll say this, and it's like I said earlier, just another example of deep disrespect for Black women. And another huge thing I also want to say is the fact that as journalists, as a doctor, as a nurse, you have to be able to completely fulfill your job. You can't have any mistakes when you do these things. Otherwise, you can end up losing your license if you're a nurse. You can end up, losing your job, losing your credibility as a journalist, whatever it may be. But if you do that as a lawyer, as an attorney general, as a judge, Supreme Court justice, whatever it may be, there aren't really what discipline do you get? What type of damage happens to your career when you don't do your full job as a prosecutor, as an AG, whatever it may be? Just get a slap on your wrist. You get some public condemnation. But this is a case where, and I hate to say this about the guy, because he helps represent the Black community when you're a Black AG. But he didn't do his full job. He didn't complete his work. He didn't do the full math. Like, you have your math teacher always say, write out everything that you do on your test.
Show your work.
How do I know that you have the right answer? This guy didn't do the full job. And now, yes, this family has gotten $1 million, was it $12 million settlement for wrongful death? From
the Louisville taxpayers, though, not from
Louisville. This is Louisville Louisville taxpayer money that's paying for the police's mistake, and then the family is paying even more for the mistake of an AG who didn't complete the work, who is just trying to save this police officer's life and their careers just because he wanted to look good for somebody else. And this isn't how you should be doing your job, bro. Like, do the right thing.
Yeah.
You should have shown all your work. And that's all I said.
An excellent example there you brought up about how the nurses, they need to be very careful with how they do their job. Same thing with doctors, when they're conducting surgery. If they do something, if they for example, remove the wrong leg when they have to conduct an amputation, they're going to lose their license, they're going to lose their job. The same thing should happen to these people that are involved in law enforcement. They should be losing their job for what they did. They went to the wrong house and they killed an innocent woman. And we're not seeing that. And instead we see all this justification here, like these judges and other people who support the police in this situation are bending over backwards, performing mental gymnastics. Pedro, you have anything else you want to add on to this?
Just what I was saying. I mean, some people make mistakes. It's human to make mistakes, but on the part of the AG, man, this is no mistake, man. I think that, like you said, I don't know if Brooks or Frank, I don't know which one of y'all said it, but it seems like they're just doing the work to please somebody else instead of doing what they're supposed to do. So I don't.
That was Brooks.
Any decisions he didn't already have premeditated as far as the AG goes.
Yeah, I mean, prayers out to Breonna Taylor's family. Prayers out to her boyfriend. Man, I can't even imagine how horrible it is for them to be going through all of this and injustice. But I mean, we're all sending all this positive energy to them, and there's a lot
Hey,
of people who support them right
one
now.
last thing. Forget. For certain things we look at it like, you know, it's injustice towards, specifically for this one. Yes, there's a lot of race involved, like a lot of conversations about this. You know, race is involved. Think about basic human rights being violated, and also think about, if, like I said, you know, put yourself in the family's shoes, put yourself in the boyfriend's shoes. How you would feel if you watch this person that you love so much die right in front of you, and then they get nothing but disrespect in the afterlife. It's reason enough to go out there and protest, on top of everything else that we've already been given reason wise to go protest.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. So, any final comments before we move on here?
R.I.P. Breonna Taylor.
R.I.P.
Yep.
Breonna Taylor. R.I.P. George Floyd and everybody else who has died because of police injustice.
And one last thing before we move on. Shout out to this guy right here. I want to show you guys. Shout out to this guy right here. For those who don't know who that is, can y'all see that?
There's a reflection there.
That
but
guy
yeah.
right here. There, him. Steven Jackson, great friend of George Floyd. I don't know if they stopped their podcast because of what was going on, but they went on a little hiatus for a while, and Steven Jackson was doing everything to carry on these conversations about George Floyd, to do right by him and his family. Major shout out to that guy, because, you know, here we are in September and he's still posting about it all the time on his Instagram. Definitely big shout out to that guy. One of the best sports podcasters that I watch and that I see. You know, nowadays they're you know, nationally syndicated at this point, and this guy's, you know, doing everything with his platform to continue the George Floyd conversation. Again, that's just one in a big bucket list full of things, but that guy right there, he's a real one for that.
All right, so this next topic is a bit more lighthearted. It's about Bad Bunny and his new glow-in-the-dark Crocs. And here's a report by CNN that discusses what happens. Bad Bunny's glow-in-the-dark Crocs went on sale and promptly sold out. Your favorite pair of rubber clogs that you secretly love but are ashamed to rock in public got a fancy makeover thanks to a collaboration with Latin trap artist Bad Bunny. If you want to buy them, you're out of luck. The limited edition pair of Crocs quickly sold out on Tuesday. Crocs teamed up with lifelong fan Bad Bunny for a white pair of Crocs with glow-in-the-dark gibbets charms on top. So what I would say about this is, would these Crocs even be sold out if Bad Bunny's name wasn't attached to it? It would not be sold out.
Yeah, probably not.
People have this cult of personality mentality, and they just run to whatever thing has their favorite celebrity's name attached to it. The same thing with the Travis Scott burger on McDonald's. The only reason why that's going out of sales or why people are running to go buy that, I don't know if they've ever sold out on McDonald's, I wouldn't doubt it though, is because Travis Scott's name is attached to it, right guys?
Facts.
I've seen these Crocs for the first time. When we were talking about this topic, and like when I seen that they dropped and all this, I did not know how they looked like. A white pair of Crocs with like a bunny, little, what is that? Saturn and a star, and it glows in the dark. And how much did they write how much they're going for? They can't be more than like 40.
It's sold out. Yeah, because Crocs are normally 40. Like it was like $45 at least.
Guess how fucking much the resale is about to be? It's going to be over $200.
How much were these? The article doesn't say.
Can you look it up?
It was the same with Post Malone. Post Malone also had a collab with Crocs.
Check how much they costed. So while she does that, I will say this: Bad Bunny is the best Latin American artist in the game right now, no question. Absolutely no question.
Or most popular?
The best.
They're $60.
I
He's
don't
been
know.
killing it.
They're 60.
They're $60. Okay, I mean,
Okay, not too bad.
yeah, it's not too far from what they usually are. In
Latin
my
American
opinion,
artist?
in my opinion, he's been the most consistent in terms of dropping, classic hits after hits. Like this guy.
But that's just popularity though.
Franco hates mainstream music. He's more.
I don't hate mainstream music. I'm just saying that popularity doesn't mean quality.
All right. Whatever. We'll talk about that another time. So
check out our Lil Wayne debate for popularity versus substance.
That is a whole another topic. Bad Bunny right now is the most popular. Okay, that's. Can we agree on that?
Yeah,
He's the
he
most
is.
popular.
Stock X right now, 265.
Holy shit! It's already going for 265. That's not even including tax, shipping, and the fucking monthly payments that people are probably going to be doing. That's extra $30 in finance.
The smallest size people are putting 400.
Oh God, up to $400. Okay, so if you're a reseller, this is like gold. You buy 10 pairs of these and you will make big money, right? So the reseller, shout out to the resellers, man, because this is I honestly I'm not a big reseller like that, but when I do, I always make a good profit because these things they drop for 100, 120. I'm talking about sneakers, in this situation Crocs, and they quadruple in profit or earn value, and you make profit off of that. It's crazy. But in terms of the actual Crocs, this is ridiculous. The fact that that it's a white pair of Crocs, because if you said if it did not have Bad Bunny's name on there, would they be sold out? No, of course they wouldn't. Post Malone, another example of a big artist. He's probably one of the biggest pop artists in the game right now. He dropped the Crocs for the same price, $60. Now they're reselling for $475.
Jeez.
Wow.
When did those come out? What year did those come out?
2020. That was earlier this year.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah. So Post
For a
Malone,
pair of Crocs,
and let's be honest, man, these are a little bit nicer. I like these a little bit more, but that's just me. So,
I'm old enough to remember when Crocs were considered ugly.
oh,
like you were
boy, I wear my checkered Crocs all the time, and people
they're so comfortable. They were so comfortable.
What is that shit, man? I get nasty looks for my checkered Crocs, and now all of a sudden people want Crocs. Nah.
Yeah,
They'll
people
hop
were
on
like people used to call others Bamas for wearing Crocs.
Nah.
Yo,
Like when we
Y'all
were
better
in
not
high school or early
Crocs.
college, that like they would be like, "Damn, those are ugly as F. Why are you wearing Crocs?"
Oh, sir, I bet when they see Bad Bunny, then now it's fire.
Now,
But-
now it's the popular thing.
But it's like anything else, guys. Like, why do people buy Louis Vuitton? Because it's Louis Vuitton. Why do people buy, I don't know, why do people
Yays.
buy? Because it's Kanye West. You know what I mean? Like, people attach their names on certain things.
Mhm.
And I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't buy these things too. Like, I literally have 2 pairs of Yeezys. I like them. I was willing to pay a little bit extra because, I don't even say, like, I am a Kanye fan. I've been a Kanye fan for some time. But, certain things, you're willing to spend a little more on. It's hard to justify at times paying like $300-400 for a pair of sneakers. I'm recommending the viewers don't do that. Don't spend that kind of money on shoes. You can do better things with that money. But I got to give a big shout out to everybody that does these collaborations, man. The real winners in this are them. Like us, we feel good, but over time they get dirty. And then the new thing comes out, and then that's it. You have a pair of shoes that are there decreasing in value potentially, and you're not even wearing them anymore. The real winners are these guys. Like, I got to give a big shout out to Travis Scott. Big shout out to Bad Bunny. Travis Scott took an item. He took a regular McDonald's item, a Whopper, and all he did was add bacon. Oh, no, excuse me. Whoppers from Burger King.
So, he took a quarter pounder, added bacon, put a Sprite, made a commercial, and then he has a whole line of merch from McDonald's now. Yo! In all fairness, though, McDonald's Sprite is amazing. Yo, Travis Scott, applaud to that guy, because, dude,
he knows exactly who he's catering to. He's catering to a bunch of hype beasts.
Bro, people are reselling that poster for like a couple $100
that
too.
shit, and it tastes good. It tastes better. Stop it. Fucking stop it. Oh my god.
So you're saying that these artists and these corporations like McDonald's and Crocs, they're the winners. So would you say that people who buy their stuff are losers?
I'm not calling them losers, but they're just not winning in this situation.
So what are they doing?
You are just, adding to the pockets of these people. I mean,
but is it their loss?
Like what I would say is this, it's not the worst thing in the world to buy these things, right? But
right.
I don't want people to sit here and say it's better. The Travis Scott burger is better than the regular quarter
It just tastes the same, just with bacon, right?
Crocs are better than I saw a pair of Yeezys, right? And then I also saw a similar pair of Adidas, regular Adidas Boost shoes, kind of similar material, similar style. The price difference is insane. $800 for the Yeezys, $100 for the regular Adidas Boost shoes. It just goes to show you that, man, the prices are inflated, and the real winners, the only winners, are the people that are dropping these shits, because unless you are reselling it, or unless you're like a shoe collector and that's like what you do as a passion, or reselling for a job, that's what you do for a living, nobody's really winning here, man. The resellers are definitely winning. Let me add that the resellers are winning. The true real
there's resellers that gain a profit.
Not the fake resellers like me who do one every month or like one every other month.
Casual resellers, what you are. Yeah, there's hardcore resellers and there's casual resellers.
But the consistent resellers, they're winning from that. Damn, man, Bad Bunny is a fucking genius, bro.
Brooks, are you gonna get these Crocs?
Yeah.
I mean, I like Crocs. Don't get me wrong, but I'm definitely not gonna get. What was it, $200 for some? I'm not paying that for some Crocs, but especially white ones, because I'm gonna get them dirty regardless. So
you think
put myself through that?
You guys think that this will ever go for like $445? Like how what is it? Post Malone's Crocs go for now?
Maybe because $265 is today. That was just from today. Post Malone shit dropped months ago. So if anything, this one could surpass Post Malone's and go for $500, $600. Are you guys familiar with Kaws? Have you guys heard of Kaws? Kaws, the little what is it, like a mouse with the X's on for eyes?
That sounds familiar.
Kaws makes these little collectibles, right? With like this little I think it's a mouse. So anybody that's in the chat that knows what Kaws is, tell us exactly what that is. But they drop it for $100, $200, and then they go on resale for thousands of dollars. There's opportunity for resellers only. If you're a regular consumer, these things are made to make you feel good, and they're supposed to make you feel good, because you don't feel good spending a shitload of money. You feel good using the item once you get it. I'm fresh. And I do it too, man. Look, I paid like $300 for this shit, man. Why? Because
would you resell it?
No, these are like my only pair of expensive shoes, because I say, you know what? If I'm going to get one expensive pair of shoes, I'm going to make sure I at least like how they look and that they're comfortable. That's the one thing I can say about these. Are very, very comfortable. So I could have got comfortable shoes for less, but I wanted to feel good about myself. I wanted to feel good to the point where I forgot that I spent a shitload of money. And you only come to the realization after the fact when you look at your bank account and you think, damn, I bought 3 Yeezys. What could I have done with that money? I could have put more towards my drone business. I could have put more towards this. But hey, I'm not saying don't go buy the shit. If you want to go buy it, make yourself feel good, you have every right. You made your money. You can go spend it however you like. I'm just telling you, I'm just telling you that there's only one real winner in this. There's like 1.5 real winners in this. And the 0.5 is the resellers, and the 1 is the artist and the company. Crocs is making bank. Bad Bunny's making bank. Resellers are making bank, but not like those other guys. And then everybody else at the bottom of the food chain just feeling good. Hey, man, if that's what your main goal is, to feel good, go for it. But I'm just telling y'all, man, you can get a white pair of Crocs and throw these little shits on yourself.
Yeah, people are gonna do that, but then they're gonna be like, "Those are fake."
Facts.
Yeah, little pins. Yeah, I see people
Yeah.
putting on
All
like
I
little
really
pins and
say about
decorations
that-
on their Crocs.
You said what?
I see people putting on like little decorations and pins on their Crocs.
Yeah,
They could
they've
just
been
do
doing
the
that for a
same.
little while now.
Yeah,
Since like last year, I think.
Yeah.
E-buzz. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the capitalist system that we live in, and people exploit it and take advantage of it.
Yeah, man, definitely. And again, I'm not saying don't go buy the shit. If you want to, it's your money. We're not telling you how to spend it. Just saying that these kind of purchases add up. And one last thing for people that are buying these shoes on StockX, remember, you're never paying what the price on StockX says. You're also going to pay shipping. You're going to pay the fee for, the seller's fee. Then if you want to finance it, you have to pay finance. These things add up. They're little things that you may not think like, oh, $10, $15, $30. That's not that bad, but it adds up over time. So just have a game plan when you buy shit like this. Like what I did, I made sure I put aside this money over some time, and then I go buy myself something nice. But really, we all know who the real winners in this are.
All right. So, do you guys have any final comments you want to make before we close this live stream up?
No Joe Biden? No Joe Biden and Donald Trump?
I'll be covering it later on Israel S. Daly's show, friend of the show. His channel is called Big Talk, Little Talk. I'm going to be covering it. I'm going to say that it's going to be a shit show and it's going to be hilarious, and I'm looking forward to it. I don't remember ever seeing Donald Trump interact with Joe Biden. So it's going to be really funny to see these two old men, both of which are suffering from some kind of like mental decline. One is suffering from it way more. So it'll be funny to see.
You said at the beginning of this live stream, you said, what's the point in voting this year? Or something along those lines. Can you elaborate on what you meant by that a little more?
No, I didn't say it during the live stream. I said before it. I said for this election, whether we have Trump or Biden, it's going to be, we're not going to see anything fundamentally change. But there's going to be different consequences with each. I think that with Biden, a lot of people who are on the left, like all of us here, we would consider ourselves to not be conservatives, right? We're more so on the liberal side. I'm on the progressive side, and that's on the left on the spectrum. A lot of people might consider a Donald Trump loss to be a victory for us, and it won't, because Joe Biden is still paid by the same people who pay the Republicans, who make the system what it is, and that gave us Donald Trump. So we're just taking away one symptom and replacing it with another symptom, but the problem is still there, and we can still get another evil person like Donald Trump in the next election. Like I remember when people thought that. Yeah, I remember when people thought that George Bush was like the worst thing that ever happened to America. That he was an idiot. He was illiterate. Like he got us into all these wars. And then after that, we had Barack Obama. People felt like everything was a relief, and then people thought everything was fine because Barack Obama spoke well. But then Barack Obama got into more wars than George W. Bush did, and people didn't even bat an eye. People didn't even know that was happening. And then after that, we got this big, bad, evil Donald Trump, and then people were looking at George Bush like, oh, these are the good Republicans. Look, these are more respectable. Like they don't say like all these like crazy horrible things. Like they have manners. They show Michelle Obama hugging George Bush like he never did anything evil. And then I'm thinking to myself, is history going to repeat itself in 4 years or no, in 8 years or whatever? When we have a worse Trump, are they going to show Michelle Obama and all these people hugging Trump, be like, oh yeah, he's this cuddly guy. Oh, he would just say nasty stuff on Twitter, but this other guy, he says evil stuff outside of Twitter, on Twitter. Like he doesn't do it for attention. He does it because he actually means it. So I don't want to see that happen. I want people to realize that Donald Trump is not the problem. He's a symptom of the problem. And just because you get rid of him doesn't mean that the problem is going to be solved. If you replace him with another person like Joe Biden who the oligarchy wants, like these billionaires that make the system what it is, if they have their chosen one there, or a chosen one there. What's up?
Pedro, say it again.
What's the real problem then, in your opinion?
The real problem is that we don't have a real democracy, and that we have a country that it's run by billionaires who buy off politicians. And this is a system called neoliberalism. And so if we remove Donald Trump, like, we're still going to be in all these wars. We're still going to have climate change that is not being tackled in the right way that we need to tackle it with. We're still going to have income inequality getting bigger and bigger. Like, the poor are still going to keep getting poorer as the rich are going to keep getting richer. We're going to have the first trillionaire by like 2026 or something, is when
That's crazy.
the Amazon, Jeff Bezos is expected to be a trillionaire.
That's disgusting.
But
There's no reason why anybody should have that much money. Like, the 62 richest people in the world own more money, have more wealth than the bottom half of the entire world. That is close to 4 billion people.
I'm not saying you're right or wrong, but I'm just curious, like, what are you basing that off of? Like, that things won't change for the majority, for like the most part.
Based off of Joe Biden's record, and Joe Biden saying it himself, he told his donors at Wall Street that nothing will fundamentally change. Telling them, don't worry, you guys are still going to make profit under my presidency. I'm not going to change the system in any way, especially economically, in which your pockets will be hurt. You guys will continue to be making profits while I'm in office. If these people in Wall Street and all these other big billionaires are going to continue to make profit, we're going to be hurt from that. Our taxpayer money is still is going to be disproportionately more than what the billionaires pay. Everybody's talking about Trump not paying his taxes now, but then they're acting like it's like an anomaly. Like it's only Donald Trump. All these billionaires never pay their taxes either. And you're getting mad at the wrong person. You're getting mad at the person who took advantage of the system instead of the people who created the system and are paying money to keep the system the way it is.
I mean, you're not wrong, but those other guys aren't the president.
And whether, like I said, whether it's Donald Trump or Joe Biden, they're going to keep the system the same. At least with Donald Trump, people are willing to try to understand why our system is the way that it is.
Yeah, as much as I dislike Trump, Franco's 100% right about Joe Biden did say that, and that's not a good thing that's a horrible look for somebody who's trying to win his first presidential bid, saying to the rich donors that nothing will fundamentally change if he's elected, along with praise for the stability of racists. So Joe Biden's not doing himself any favors, man, but it's tough, There is no clear cut. This is who will make the country better. We are in a tough spot, regardless of who wins, like you're saying.
And regardless, we're gonna have to fight. Regardless of who we have, whether it's Donald Trump or Joe Biden. And look, I'm not going to vote or shame anybody if they want to vote for Joe Biden. I'm not going to vote or shame anybody if they want to vote for Donald Trump. In the end, people who are voting for Donald Trump, a lot of these Trump supporters are poor and they're desperate, and they just think that Donald Trump is going to help them out. What we should be doing is informing them rather than demonizing them and telling them that they're evil for supporting Donald Trump, right? That's how we're going to get them to understand and to realize that Donald Trump is taking advantage of them and that Donald Trump is not here to help them out.
I don't think that the main narrative about MAGA heads are necessarily that he supports Trump. It's that they use Trump's name for a vehicle for bigotry and
not all of them though. Not all of them are like that.
90% of them are.
No, that's just you're using assumptions to say that. The entire country isn't racist, but a lot of racists do support Trump.
Say that. I didn't
No. I know, but a lot of
saying
bigotry that occurs is because of racism.
MAGA heads mostly use Trump's name to insert themselves in certain conversations. And I'm not just saying that based off of personal experience. I'm talking about just what I see all the time online mostly. And then, what they show from these Trump rallies and stuff like this. Hear what these Trump guys say or what these Trump women support.
They think that the problem is like Mexicans and immigrants coming into this country and not paying their taxes.
Saving the children.
Yeah, but what we got to do is tell these people, look, it's not the immigrants. Look at what the United States is doing to the people in those countries and why they're coming to this country. There's also automation that is taking your jobs away. And it's also these billionaires that are taking advantage of you and causing you to get poorer and poorer every year proportionally as they continue to get richer. If we were... Huh?
You wouldn't say that like 85 to 90% of MAGA heads, I'm not talking about people that would vote for Trump or people that like Trump. I'm talking about
the hardcore Trump supporters.
Would you not say that 90% of them use Trump's name and his campaign as a vehicle for bigotry and racism?
They're just... I would say that they are... Like, you're saying that they're using Trump as an excuse to do the things that they do?
No. I'm saying, well, kind of. No, what I'm saying is this. They use his name. That's what kind of, like, depending on you. I'm not taking off until you speak. Just say what you're going to say.
No, I was just gonna say that literally they already are that way, like, racist minded people.
And then what
they were
president where they say, okay, now because the president thinks the same way I do, I can be this way, and this is what I'm gonna represent him because that's what he represents. That's what he represents us, And then what do you mostly see on like you don't I've never seen a polite Trump supporter or anything like.
Oh yeah,
never.
Because the media doesn't want to show that. The media is trying to divide us, and so they show the most extreme examples of Trump supporters to try to get the people on the other side angry and to think that they're trying to create more misunderstanding among us so that we fight amongst ourselves instead of fighting against the bigger people who are oppressing both of us, like both groups. Like the non-Trump supporters and the Trump supporters, we're being oppressed by the same people.
Wait, so you're saying that there are polite Trumpers out there?
Yeah, there are.
I personally have.
I've met some before.
Like MAGA country, like USA flag in their bio, MAGA #America, all that.
Like, they're not on social media. Like, on social media, you're not going to have, like, a good, rational conversation with people most of the time.
They do that. Why aren't they out there trying to represent Trump as a good guy or, like, be those nice people? Why do we only see...
I like the Trump... But, no, that's what he was saying. Like, the media only shows us...
No, but there's people who, like, for example, on Twitter, like, all these MAGA heads, they're only all like mean people,
I know.
It's like it's a misunderstanding. Like they think that they're directing their anger out the right way, and then they think that a lot of the problems in our country is our fault. Like people who are leaning liberal or who are on the left, and then we think that a lot of people on our side think that the problems is with the people on the other side, but really, we're all suffering here. Like we all want a government that represents us better. Like we don't want to be suffering anymore and like continue to have less opportunity than previous generations had. Have our jobs be taken away. Like and then COVID like exacerbated that. Mm-hmm. And it's both Democrats and Republicans that decided to only give us one single check throughout this whole thing, while in other countries, people are receiving checks monthly for like $1,000 at least.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I mean,
it's
you're not
professional
lying.
wrestling between like both the parties, like the Democrats and Republicans, and the whole purpose of it is to distract the people. Um, so I would say the best thing to do is just to try to understand as much as horrible as a lot of these Trump supporters appear to be on the mainstream media, is to try to understand why they support Trump, and to converse them and be like, look, I'm feeling the same pains that you feel. Let's try to see like objectively what's going on and who we should actually be mad at. Why are immigrants coming over here? It's because we're oppressing those countries. The US is oppressing those countries and causing people to come over to this country. But is it those people that are taking your jobs away, or is it the oligarchs that are trying to reduce the number of people, of employees that they have, so that they can make more profit?
Were you going to say something, Brooks?
What was I gonna say? No, I was just asking. Damn.
Trump, Biden, Republican.
I was asking. Is the solution? I just want to ask Franco this, because it sounds like he's not gonna vote nationally. But
no, I'm gonna vote, but I think that everybody should do what they feel is best in their heart, and they should inform themselves as much as they can about what they should do. I think that voting down ballot is going to be more important. Like voting for these local candidates is going to be most important. I'm personally, the most likely thing that I'm going to do is probably going to write somebody in.
Okay. Kanye West.
I'm not going to, no.
No, I'm just kidding. But two things I want to say before we can close out this topic here. If you guys want to add anything, go right ahead. Two things I want to add. Actually, I guess it really I can just tie it all into one. But one thing that I would say, I've seen a lot of people, including you, Franco, say, don't vote Biden just because you dislike Trump. I'm going to go ahead and say I think that is a good enough reason at this point to vote for Biden. I'm not saying that go vote for Biden or else. I'm not saying go if you don't vote Biden and you love Trump, blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying any of that, but I would say if people feel if it's guided, I don't even, people don't really owe explanations.
Right, but look.
But if they feel, that Trump has made them feel such a way to the point I gotta vote for Biden just to get him out, I wouldn't kill somebody for that. You know what I mean?
Right, but why is it that they don't like Trump though? Like, what do they think that getting him out of office will solve? What do they think that's gonna solve?
I think people are ready to take their chance on another person who could potentially do a bad job, but we're not gonna find out until November, right?
But what will that do for your life though?
I have no idea. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about.
No, I know, but you're trying to put yourself in like their shoes, and you're trying to justify their reasoning for why they want Trump out, and you said that they just want Trump out. Mm-hmm. But we got to understand, why are they choosing to get Trump out? Is it just because of optics? Like they think that do they think that he's doing such a bad job and that getting him out will solve a lot of the country's problems?
No, I don't think people think that. People aren't thinking that far ahead for the most part. People are thinking Donald Trump is fucking
So they're
racist.
just going for personality then. They just don't like his personality and they want somebody else's personality on there. But what is that going to do for their life other than just having somebody that they don't like in office? Yeah,
well, I mean, like I said, nobody's really going to know until they find. Nobody has a crystal ball. I know a lot of people have said,
but we can speculate we can make educated speculations based off of people's records.
What Trump has done as president, I can't really think too many things off the top of my head what he has done not saying Trump hasn't done anything, but I can't tell you 5 things that Trump has done maybe it's because I'm ignorant, or maybe because it doesn't exist. I can't think of 5 things that Trump has done where I say applaud to that guy.
It's hard to say. Like if that, like, what good things he has done. I would say at least he hasn't started any new wars, but that's a really low bar that was set for him.
I mean, he's kind of like insinuating like a civil war at times with like the protesters and the police. He incites violence, bro. That's proven. This guy says when the looting starts.
Who installed those policies, though? But who installed those policies?
The cause and not the reaction of what people are protesting against, and that he's like, you know, the main culprit of some of these. Well, not the main, but he's one of them.
But who installed those policies to allow police officers to take down protesters and consider them terrorists without any, and then like not put them on trial if they're considered terrorists, and then they can be arrested without any trial? That was the Obama administration. And so, like, with Biden, we can judge how he's going to govern based off of how he served as vice president.
That's fair, man. Because
they have a vice president has a lot of influence on what the president does. A lot of the policies that Obama installed for militarizing the police were Joe Biden's pet projects. Joe Biden also
crystal ball. Like, we can speculate as much as we want, but we won't know a thing until it happens. And I think that at this point, people are so fed up with Trump, they're willing to try another option, regardless of how bad it might be. And let's say people go out, vote Joe Biden, and he wins, and the country goes to complete shit. We look back on it like, holy shit, we were wrong. You know,
yeah, like, and then it's going to continue to be this way unless we get money out of politics and we have somebody who's more genuine on their message, rather than pretending like they're your friend, but really they're serving the billionaires.
It's a tragedy that Bernie didn't make it this far, man.
Hey, man, I talked about this with other people. I think it happened for a reason, but that's a topic for another day. Bernie Sanders had a lot of problems with himself and the way that he handled his campaign, that if he were to become president, I think that he would have had a lot of the wrong people by his side, and then that would have led to a lot of people who really liked Bernie to think that he wasn't doing anything wrong.
Yeah, all I'm saying is
slippery slope.
You know, we'll see what happens. Guys, I went way past the time that I was supposed to. I got to get going to meet with a client soon.
It was great having you guys on. It's great discussing with you guys.